Welcome to episode 101, cleaning out your list building closet. Tonight, we're going to be talking about things we couldn't get to last week. Essentially, we talked a little bit about list building, but mainly about the new points, the points changes, and all of those fancy things. So all the lists you submitted, we promised we'd get to. We are officially going to get to some of them, not all of them. We're going to get to some of them this week. And it's going to be fun. I'm excited. List building's been very fun for me. And maybe that's because I'm in a good faction and not Empire. But I have had a lot of fun building lists this week, just a lot. So we're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk some store champs, some results from them. And we have a surprise for you about some Patreon stuff, as well as what we're going to kind of do with it once we get through it. With that being said, let me bring in my co-host for tonight. Please welcome to the show, Mr. JJ, still loves the Lions, Gridiron, and Mr. Alex, the bench warmer himself, still couldn't pull out first place even this weekend, but he did eke out second place over me. How are you tonight, sir?
I mean, it's in the name, right? We don't win events. That's why we're on the bench.
No, usually second place is not benching material. Well, if you didn't know, it was a holiday weekend. We took yesterday off, though I was home in enough time. We probably should just recorded yesterday. Like, I thought about it, and I should have just, because Alex lives closer to the store champ we went to, we should have just done it yesterday. But I will tell you, I was pretty wiped out between driving a bunch Saturday, playing X-Wing Sunday, and driving a bunch Sunday night on home. Well, hopefully your guys' weekend had been good. Tell me a little bit about your weekend. I know how Alex's weekend been.
It's been a gloomy North Carolina weekend over here. It's been raining most of the week here, but I had a good weekend. Actually had the family over for quite a bit, and so my brother semi messed up his foot, and then we had to deal with that. And then the glass on his car went down, and they had to travel for a bit, so we had to jury rig like a covering for the side of his car and stuff. So it was like one disaster after another for that. But beyond that, had a lot of fun here with the family here over for the holiday, and just definitely doing a lot of list building. Shout out to Nabi, by the way, who I was paired up with in Sith Takers this week. He completely wiped the floor with me with a resistance list with this really janky resistance Ray that had Holdo crew and then tied in with Ferrosphere Pains. And essentially you can, if you lock Ray, she can transfer to lock to another ship that's down in the bullseye, then force you to get stressed. What she did very effectively against my Vader and just killed my initial Alpha Strike. And then from there it just went downhill. But yeah, it was a really, really fun time playing with Nabi. So it was good to see him again or talk with him again.
Yeah, it's revenge for Worlds, for you not coming to Worlds this year.
Yeah, exactly.
Alex, how was your weekend?
It was okay. I was just very busy, and we had the store champ on Sunday. That was great. I always love just the people that always go to these store champs. I'm glad that you guys came out. It was fun. I like the store. I like the people.
Yeah, it was fun. I was a little surprised when we got there. Originally, the guy's like, "Oh, we have an extra kit. We might just give out 2 Worlds tickets," and I was like, "Oh fuck!" Now I actually got to really try hard. Like that's really good. Could happen. And secretly, I kind of wish they still had, because that means next week when you come to ours, you wouldn't have had to win, and you could have just not ran a try hard list. And then if we got paired up, you could just like concede and be like, "All right, Tanner won 18-0, no problem." Give me a free win.
In retrospect, it would have been cool, but probably shouldn't have done that. It's better for the store to have 2.
Yeah, there's no reason that we couldn't just have ran 2 stores. And that's a nice store. I'll tell you that. I like that store.
Yeah, they just recently expanded, actually. Gained about like half that store. It wasn't there before, so
Yeah, it's really cool. And I will say, Ypsilanti, Ann Arbor from my house is about 2 hours. So really, it's not really that bad of a drive. I will say it would be better on a Saturday when we could start at noon and go to like 8 at night. I would like that better. But um, other than that, like I came in the night before and hung out with family. So my birthday was Saturday. And so we decided to take the family on a spontaneous trip to Ann Arbor to see family we haven't seen in like, I don't know, it's probably been like 8 months. And that was really fun. They're like they own a hippie farm in Ann Arbor, so we got
That's
to
amazing.
we got to hang out on their farm. That was really cool. I don't know. It was a lot of fun seeing my family that we don't get to see that often. So
Yeah.
they had a bonfire for me, so and that's like one of my favorite things is to sit by a bonfire and listen to music.
Yeah, Ann Arbor's a pretty nice place. You know, it's completely flips though when like U of M is like it's still in session and when it's not in session.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. Well, hopefully everybody else had a great weekend. And it was, like I said, it was a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun at the Store Champs. But before we get into lists or any Store Champs, I want to share something. So if you are listening to the audio-only podcast, JJ will get 30 seconds per new thing that I'm going to introduce to describe it audioly for everybody. And that's to say, if you want to see these images that I'm about to show you, you're going to have to watch the video on YouTube. And I promise you, it will not take me a week to get it up. It will not be up tomorrow, but it will definitely be up within a couple of days. So, JJ, are you ready?
Let's do it.
All right. So the first thing that we're going to show is some card designs. And I don't know where my visual went, but we have some card designs that we have done or had commissioned from essentially for our Patreons. Now, the other thing that's going to happen is even though we're going to release these for our Patreons, we are going to officially figure out how to get an Etsy store up. And we will probably be selling each of our Patreons at the end of the cycle. All the cards, tokens, and all that fancy stuff. We will be selling them as a group thing. So, we decided to do missiles and torpedoes as our very, very first custom set. And when we were talking with the designer, Corey Heald, by the way, so shout out to Corey, if you know Corey. He is an amazing graphics designer. We talked about style and arts and different things like that. And one of the things that we really liked was I wanted the pictures to bleed a little bit over into the side view just to kind of make it look like it's 3D. And then the second thing that we wanted was we wanted a theme, a color scheme theme for it. So these are what we've landed on. I only have 2 to show you. I'm not going to show every one of them. But essentially, we are going to be doing a whole bunch of missiles and torpedoes for our first launch of cards specialized to Planning Phase Syndicate. So JJ will go over each card in 30 seconds to describe it for our audio listening folks.
The first card is a lovely cluster missiles that is equipped on a RZ2A wing with a red and white paint. It has a little bit of a schematic view on the back, and it has the missile shooting off past the border of the picture there. Fantastic. Next up is barrage rockets, also equipped on a lat. Obviously, this is Sicko. And the edge of the lat's wing also extends outside, breaking the border edge as it shoots into an unknown enemy that's in the sunset in the far distance future. Right below that, we have a set of our icons for the different missiles, and that will be unique to each one of these missiles, and they'll be posted as part of the tokens that's going to come with these particular sets.
Yes. So essentially, the idea is we are going to I'm going to pull the document up, but we are going to have a round of X amount of cards, and we are going to start with the missiles and the torpedoes. We don't know how many tokens. I got to get a price on the tokens, but essentially the idea is probably about 5 missile tokens to begin with, and then anywhere between 2 and 4 torpedo tokens. Again, everything will depend on cost. Right now, the barrage rockets with the LAT. We also have Diamond Boron, which we won't release what is going to be with that. Ion missiles, homing missiles, and my favorite, Discord missiles. And this one we determined are going to have the Buzz Droid card come with it as well to have a matching set. And JJ or Alex, guess what ship those Buzz Droids are going to be destroying?
The Ada.
I want
It
to
has to be an
Torgal.
Ada. Yeah.
Torgal.
No, Torgal.
Damn it, that's a good one. All right, I got to message Corey now.
No, it's going to be eating up one of.
It-
It's probably going to be like a lat. I don't know.
An Ada. Corey and I came to the decision that the Ada is the iconic one that we see in the movies that they start to tear apart. So we're gonna do that. We have not designed the torpedo cards yet, but we are looking at doing all 5 of them: proton, advanced proton, plasma, homing, and ion. Will be the first round of torpedoes, and there's not many of them. And I'll give you one spoiler because the only one I've agreed upon so far is going to be advanced proton torpedoes are going to have, drum roll, Alpha class Starwing, because that's the ship that's coming out, and that's an amazing idea because I'm hoping that will catch on. So
Yes. Excellent.
So
Excited.
those are kind of what you can look forward to for the Patreons. We will update our Patreon and stuff like that. And these will be like quarterly things that we give out if you would like to support the show. Otherwise, at some point, we will get them up in the store that we will work on, but the store will not be probably till the end of the year. So given my current life situation, we're going to get the stuff produced first and get some costs. And the idea is, and here's the best part. Let me switch back. I'm sorry. I'm going to switch back real quick, guys. Come on, computer. All right. The idea is going to be is if they are popular enough, we will actually do these different type of missiles for each faction, and we'll have a different card design per faction, so you can buy a faction set. That's going to come way down the line. Probably we're talking a year later. But once we get the designs up and running, this is the type of artwork that you can expect from us for the next 2 years. So we are going to be working on cards for. We have different character cards for pilots that have come out recently. Different really popular ones that people don't have. I would like to do a set for bombers when bombers come out. And that's part of the reason we chose missiles, is because missiles are a big thing for bombers. Bombs are on the docket to do next for some bomb tokens. And the idea is when you think about it, if you have all these individualized type things, right? Like, you are going to be able to have unique tokens that will look different for your sets. So think about it. You have cluster missiles. You need 4 cluster missile ones. There you go. They're going to be missile tokens. You'll know exactly what they are. That way they're just not generic energy charge tokens. So that was kind of the idea. I just wanted to bring that up. Thought that would be that's a fun little thing that we could do for people that want to support us and help out.
Exciting. Yeah. Just there's so much work that goes into designing these cards and to get them into production, but it's finally great to unveil this work that we're doing for all of you guys, basically, that watch us and listen to us week in and week out. We appreciate you guys, and we're excited to continue to provide these excellent cards for you guys. So it'll be great.
Yes, and surprise, if we could get these done. And JJ doesn't have the PPS tournament in June, which I'm assuming is not happening.
No, it's not. It's not. It's permanently on hold right now until we can get all this sorted, because we want to make sure that the next event is going to have everything available for everybody there, that it can come down and participate. We want to make sure that we give you guys the best that we can offer for you guys for coming out and being part of our tournament.
So there's going to be that. next announcement, and I guess I'm announcement heavy today, and I don't know why. But the Patreon thing was really important for me because we've worked very hard. Corey has worked very hard on this. We just provided ideas and capital. But the big thing is Michigan GT this year is going to be the first weekend in October. As of today, I have 3 store championship kits, which means there will be 3 Worlds tickets. It's official that I have 3. I am working on that 4th one. So we are working towards having 4 Worlds qualifier tickets for everybody for Michigan GT, which is the first weekend in October. So we will get the information up on Michigan GT site. Corey is going to help me make a banner here in the next couple of weeks once everything calms down in his neck of the woods. And we're going to get it added to the Michigan calendar. Last announcement that I'll go through. If you want to come to Grand Rapids, Michigan, we have an amazing tournament next weekend for a store champs. I think we have 11 or 12 people signed up right now. We're hoping to get a few more. I would like to see 16 would be at least the minimum number would be awesome to have. But we have some extra prizes and different things like that. So I know it's short notice, but if you want to come out to Michigan in Granville area, which is just west of Grand Rapids, about 15 minutes, you can come to our next store championship. All right. So what I decided, before we get into lists, because we're going to get into lists, I thought we'd do some faction rankings, and I can already tell you JJ's wrong right now. And I see JJ switched one of his up, too, because he had Empire. You had Empire at the top.
You probably saw me in the middle of editing when I originally put it up, but yeah.
But what I thought we'd do is let's do some quick faction rankings, and I don't want to spend a half hour on this, guys. So I just kind of want to go through, your thoughts on why you placed each of them. Start from the bottom, work your way up. And what we're going to do is we'll let Alex go first, actually. Let me bring Alex's up. And then let's get into some store championship data. So, Alex?
Okay, so the first thing here is that there should be a number 8 with Scum at 8. And the 7 should be blank for whatever faction they just might come up with, just in case, because there's that much of a gap between 6 and 7, in my opinion. But yes, I want to start at the bottom. Scum, I don't think they got much help in the points update, and everyone else did. And I don't think not that they're unplayable, it's just kind of an uphill battle, I believe, competitively for this Scum faction. It's really difficult to build good lists in there. I've been trying. It's difficult. At number 6, I have Empire. I do like Rack being at 7. I like Death Troopers being at 4, even though I don't like it being at 4. And I like the Bombers. I think they're pretty solid filler pieces. I'm not sure about spamming them in mass, but they're solid pieces. At 5th, I have Separatists. I believe they got a lot of love, and they're pretty good, but also their ships still die really fast because the Tri-Fighters points went down doesn't mean their durability went up. And now there's more ships on the table. But you can bring more of them, so that's cool. I like them. It's just kind of hard. Like 3, 4, and 5 to me are kind of just all interchangeable, and they can go in pretty much any order. 4, I have the Republic. I was actually waffling between the Republic and Separatists, but I think there's something more of Republic just by having a 4-point I6 Anakin Ida and a whole bunch of Born for This and Force and 5.7B Mace. That all seems pretty solid pieces you could build around. And 2 of the better Z95s being at 2 points is really strong. At 3, I have Rebels. They also got a lot of love. You can build a lot of pieces. I think their overall offensive output might have gone down a little bit now that they're not all proton torpedo carriers. But you can do a lot more other things that are probably better. But you kind of lose out on a lot of spike damage with them. Unless you just proc at everyone, but that's hard. I have the First Order as the second highest faction, I believe, with they just have really good pieces. You can play an actual strong ace lists, and they just have a bunch of really cheap filler pieces. I mean, quick draw went down too. Like the SFs are strong. A lot of TIE fighters are really strong, and the silencers are really, really strong. And then at number 1, I have the Resistance. I feel like just their wealth of options and having a 6-point Chewbacca really can put them over the edge. I think just with the amount of things you can do in the Resistance, there has to be, the meta-defining list somewhere there. So that's my reasonings.
Nice.
All right. JJ, do you want to go next or do you want me to?
Yeah, I'll go next. So for me, starting from the bottom, I do agree with Alex. Scum definitely got that did not get as enough help from this last points list or this last points adjustment than the rest of the factions. Yes, the positives for them is that yes, they made Fang Fighters viable again in terms of lowering their costs and giving them a decent amount of loadout points for them to be an option for them. Same thing with the Rogue Class Starfighter as well, being a decent ship to put into your list or filler for that. But the other strongest points for Scum, which was their large bases, took a nosedive in terms of their loadout value. You take a look at Dengar, take a look at Boba Fett, and plus all the costs of all the upgrades that they normally equip, they're definitely not as effective or viable. The gauntlets also losing loadout value kind of made them not as tempting to run for what else is available in Scum. So to me, it felt like they lost a lot of power in that since they do have some of the best large bases in the game. But the remaining factions from 6 all the way to number 1, they feel a lot more closer together in power level after this adjustments. Now, it is a little controversial. I was really debating on this one, but for me, the Resistance comes in at number 6, although they did get power boost for all the Falcons coming down to 7 points and still retaining the points. That's really good. Plus the availability of the 3-point Y-Wings is really good. And now you have T-70s as well being good as well. The loss of the loadouts across the board feels like they're not going to be as efficient. That being said, I still think that a 5 T-70 list is really, really strong, or a Poe list that can also include a bunch of T-70s to be kind of like that Resistance beef type list. I think they can be pretty strong. But it just doesn't feel as efficient as the rest of the list. First Order as well, although they did get a nerf in the loadout values, you still have Scorch, you still have DT, you still have Malorus, you got a lot of options now with 5-point Kylo Ren. You got the Silencers also coming down in cost as well. They have a lot of great options in First Order. They can definitely do a lot of work with what they got. I still feel like they're missing a couple of pieces there that will make them top tier, but they definitely have the potential to do it. They just need probably a few more things to go right in terms of balance for them to make them a top tier, in my opinion. Next up, Rebels. I think they got a big boost. A lot of their T-65 X-Wing pilots and Hera and the A-Wing at 4 points. It is really, really good. They have very good A-Wing pilots at 3-point cost, and they finally have that 2-point piece in Sabine Wren. That is an excellent objective ship. And their Falcons as well, being at 7 points as well, still retaining the loadout, is really big. I think they have a lot of great options right now. They're looking very, very solidly, and they have a lot of options to still share those tokens with Hera or with the U-Wings and still have a lot of actions available. I think they're in a better spot now than where they were the previous points. Going up to Separatist, I think they definitely got a big boon with the Rogue Class Starfighters coming down in price, with the HMPs finally being a very viable option at 3 and 4 points, respectively, especially being able to carry those tactical droid carriers. That makes the rest of the list much more effective. The Magna Guard Protectors, I think, are going to be a big a meta staple for the Separatists for their ability and their cost, and the ability to still be a very good, effective attacker at I4 with sync cannons. So I think that they're definitely going to be a top contender for here. Just slightly above them, Empire. Empire really doesn't feel like they took a hit. I mean, the biggest noticeables were Moff Gideon and Iden that went up to 4 points. But beyond that, I mean, they really weren't nerfed at all. I mean, you're going to get 2 6-point Vaders options for you available there. You have a 5-point Soontir Fel, which he can no longer run a Predator Shield upgrade, but who cares? He's still really great at I6, and at 5 points, you could put Juke on him with Predator. That's going to be a viable option as a flanker. You still have a lot of great selections at the 3-point cost with the TIE fighters, and now with the TIE bombers coming in, you have a 3-point Major Rhymer, which is an I5 that can carry ordnance. I mean, they are a really solid faction that's going to have even more options now with those TIE bombers to come in and fill the ranks. And then at number 1, the Republic. I think that hands down they got the best buff. With the availability of 2-point options in the Clone Z95s and having even more options at the 4-point marks between the Delta 7s, the Adas, having Oddball coming down in cost for the Siege of Coruscant version. That triple arc list I feel is really, really strong, and you still have a lot of different options to fill it out with, either with custom or Siege of Coruscant versions of like Contrail. You have Axe that's also really good, that syncs very well with that list. I mean, you have so many options in Republic right now, and they're going to be a force to reckon with. I think right now they're top dog.
All right. So for mine, obviously they're a little bit different. I think we've all agreed that Scum was the worst out of everything. What I will say is that I don't think Scum's unplayable. I don't think that they don't have power. I think they're prepping Scum for some of the future stuff to come, but I think they don't know how to balance it properly. Is the nicest way to put it. And the reason I say that is they killed their coordinator at 3 points. So they lost coordination, and then they gained some heavy hitting, but they have to be able to stand alone. So I don't know. I feel Scum struggles the most in the power meta because they don't have the ability to coordinate multiple mods around the clock as cheap as that they used to. I will say Fen is still a menace though, so you just can't knife fight as much with him as you used to be able to. Empire, I felt, was the biggest loser, even over Scum personally, but they still are a better faction than Scum to play right now. And I say that because they lost all their support pieces, in my opinion. Iden, huge support piece. Bye-bye. You don't get Iden anymore unless you want to waste the points. And by wasting points, you're getting knocked down that. I get JJ loves his Vizier, and you could still take Seventh Sister on Vizier now, but you lose the ability to have that Reaper still live quite a bit. That Reaper is no longer as durable as it was with Feroff, right? And they lost Moff Gideon, which is huge. In my opinion, Moff Gideon is actually... I wish they hadn't changed Moff Gideon in Empire. So that's kind of the pieces. That's kind of how I see Empire, is they've lost... They still have a lot of power, and I think they still can do things, but I think the loss of some of the coordination and some of that has made them a lot harder to play in terms of being able to pick up and, have multiple lists. I think they're getting pigeonholed farther than what they were before, and that's the bigger issue. Now, Bombers could change that. I will say played some Bombers tonight, and as awesome as it was to see 3-point Bombers on the table, they didn't hold up as well as I thought they would, but they are only worth 3 points. So, and they did make my Dirge chase one of the Bombers for quite a while, but I got the 3 points in the end. So, Republic is only at number 5, not because of what they have, but because of the skill level it's going to take to play some of that stuff, I think. I think they give you 2 Adas at 4 points each. You have 8 points, and now you have 12 points to play with. I think Republic is really good, and I think Republic and Resistance are kind of interchangeable depending on your play style. But I think Republic takes a little bit more skill to play than we're gonna see in Resistance, but I think a skilled player can bump that Republic up pretty high. Resistance got a million toys, they all over the place, and I do think that they have a lot that people can use. But again, I think it's somewhat of a skill set, and this is why I kind of challenged Alex a little bit earlier, saying it's number one because it's like his favorite faction, and he's been playing it for like he loves that faction. I don't think I've ever seen Alex play anything but that in Republic. Now that I think about it, every time you play me, it's always Resistance Republic. So we'll challenge Alex. Come to the next store championship without your Resistance list. There you go.
I think there's a hidden agenda there, huh?
No, I might be TOing, so I might not even be playing this weekend.
You got to get that 000 card. Yeah, I get it.
No, I feel bad for Corey. I think Corey has less chances to play than I do, so I want to make sure Corey gets to play over me. I think he deserves it. So,
Sure.
But I think Resistance has, again, a lot of toys. I think it's going to take a while to flesh out Resistance a little bit, but we'll see. Separatists, I put in at 3. I did not give them the highest ranking because I don't think that they were the biggest winners. If you had given me the Afflex at 3 points, I would put Resistance at number 1, but they're not. So I think Separatist is really good. We got a lot of toys. I think we have support pieces we've never had before. With the I can take Kraken at 3 points, or I can take Hondo at 3 points. Don't tell anyone, but I can. And Hondo is so much fun, and people hate Hondo. Ask everybody I played tonight. Nobody wants to play against Hondo. So I think Separatists got quite a bit of a bump. And we go into First Order, and I think First Order and Rebels are tied for first place, is what I would say. But I think First Order has a different play style niche to it than Rebels does. Rebels lost their torpedoes, but Rebels gained a million toys. You can run a VCX and 6 other ships in Rebels right now. It's disgusting. So I think Rebels is the funnest to build for, has a lot of options, and I think they eke out over First Order for the pure fact that First Order, even though First Order got aces, and if you ever want to learn how to play aces, contact Cody Wood, because I despise playing against him, especially when I lost first player role to I5s all the time. That was not fun. But I will say First Order has the capability to be top tier, I think, and I don't think they got hurt at all. Like, I think they lost nothing, and I think that's why I gave them one of the highest ratings, because they lost nothing and gained an I6 at 5 points. They gained Deuterium Power Souls at 6 points. For Christ's sake, it's just ridiculous. And they gained Kylo in the other silencer without maneuver, which is insanely disgusting, by the way. Be prepared for Kylo outmaneuver extreme maneuvers. I hate it. So stupid. Stupid. And then they got Wylo. But Rebels, I feel, has the ability to play into more things, and I think Rebels kind of ekes out a little bit because they have the ability to take every scenario and be very dominant in those types of scenarios. So there we go.
Nice.
No rebuttals from anyone.
I mean, honestly, I think once we start seeing more and more of the meta develop and more lists come out for like store champs and stuff, I think we'll start seeing more of the like the shakedown of the hierarchy for each of the lists, and I think we'll start seeing some real meta monsters that we haven't thought of yet for each faction that might probably clarify this power ranking. So yeah.
Also, Chopper and 5 fits. Chopper and 6 does not fit. Just throwing it out there.
Chopper and what?
Chopper and 5 other ships, not Chopper and 6 other ships.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, 7 ship with Chopper would be
Gross.
Awful. But that's still really scary that you can do like Chopper +5 or Chewbacca +5 if you're the
Yeah.
Resistance.
Yep, and I think that's going to be the big thing is that's the thing is we've seen a couple of factions that shouldn't have swarms get swarms back, which is what I complained about when we had the original 2.5. But anyway, so let's move on to some store champs. We are only going to go over the top 2. That is it. Nothing more, nothing less. Which means we won't go over my list, unfortunately, because I was number 3. Thanks to 4 points of loadout, or 4 victory points.
7.
Are you sure? My son said it was 4.
Well, if you read the document, it says 7, so I'm just going off that.
All right, I'm going to do some calculations in the background. That's what I'm going to do.
If you look, also speaking of doing calculations in the background, I did calculations in the background while we were ranking our factions. We ranked collectively the Rebels the highest.
Oh, did we?
Yep, followed by First Order, then the Republic, and then it was a tie for Separatists and Resistance, then the Empire, and then Scum. Yeah.
Huh.
So
That's very interesting.
An aggregated kind of ranking for us, I guess Rebels and First Order are the way to go.
And look who put them on top. All right, let's move on to some store champs. Great Britain, fanboy, no idea where that store is, but we had a store champ there, and I posted, you could see a high level of the top 5 lists that were 3-1 and 4-0. And I'm going to give Alex, you could choose, do you want number 1 or number 2 list?
Oh, I'll take the number 2. I love me some Fangs. Fang Fighters made second at a store champ. They had Fen Rao with shield upgrade, fearless, and marksmanship. Need that shield upgrade, let me tell you. Tarok with fearless, crackshot, and Beskar. Dirge with lone wolf, marksmanship, proton cannons, and baffle. Curious to see how much he got that lone wolf off. He had Lima with plasma torps and dorsal, and then Bosk with mystery upgrades. I'm assuming marksmanship and another 2-point upgrade. I don't know; it doesn't list it.
Well, I might not have. I might have cut that off on
accident. You could probably just fit Predator on him since he only has 3 loadout, or Contraband.
Predator, marksmanship makes sense with his ability, and you could do like expert handling because he has a red barrel roll,
Yeah,
there's multiple ways. But that's a lot of high initiative in this list. Bosk is the only 4, but he's the 2-point ship, right? And then Tarok, Lima, and Dirge are at 5. Fenrir's at 6. I kind of had a feeling you'd be seeing a lot of high initiative because a lot of high initiative is kind of cheap right now. And the high initiative has always been, what you bring in this game. It's always been really, really good. So it's I'm interested in the choice of Crackshot for Tarok over something like Mando Optics and like marksmanship, just because it seems like maybe the target lock would be better. But if you got to push through damage, you're going to push through damage. He's going to strip your green tokens anyways. So if you get an added evade, you just Crackshot it right off. So I love Tarok. I played Tarok for so long.
I think that with his ability, it kind of makes you want to be an aggressive Fang fighter. So you want to get into that range 1, and typically, if you're using your boost to go in there, you have a greater chance of getting that bullseye off more reliably, especially if you're trying to push his ability to go off. So being able to have that crack shot available allows you to really punch in damage. With Fearless being that passive mod that Tarok needs, and I mean it's really good. I think so.
I think no pilot was more hurt by range 0 than Tarok.
Oh yeah,
his ability does not work at range 0. Neither does Fearless. Neither does Concordia. Like their ship ability. So Tarok, I think, got the hurt out of most of that, but. It's solid. I'm not a strong believer in Fang fighters right now, but they still can hit real hard if you play them right.
So this
Oh,
list reminds me of a Cody Wood list. If Cody Wood played Scum, I could see him putting this on the table because of the pure fact that you have to fly these things like aces. Dirge, Ultarok, and Fen all have to be flown like aces to win.
Yep.
Sort of. The way, just speaking for Cody, because he has no chance to defend himself right now. His A style play is a little bit different than how you do like Fang Fighters, because Fang Fighters are very up close and versatile, and Cody is just like he just toilet bowls you until he can find a spot. He's normally shooting like right off the very edge of the hierarchy, but Fang Fighters they're just right in there, and you have to really plan your movements ahead to see where your twos are going, because if you get trapped in a Fang fight, you're toast.
Yeah, that's true. Yep.
All right, JJ, what was the top list today for this event?
So the top list that we have here is for Dan Athey. He's flying the Galactic Empire, so he has a 5-ship list here. We have Darth Vader, the Battle of Yavin version, followed by the return of the TIE bombers coming in here. So we have Tom Spren, a 3-point TIE bomber, coming in with barrage rockets, saturation salvo, and bomblet generator. Captain Jonas also with barrage rockets, saturation salvo, and bomblet generator. Major Reimer also with barrage rocket, saturation salvo, and ion bombs. And then Fifth Brother in the TIE V1 also making a return with homing missiles and fire control system. This is a heck of a list. I'm liking this a lot. Yes, those TIE bombers can be fragile, but being able to shoot at I-5 with Tomix and Reimer, having the passive rerolls from Captain Jonas if he's in range there, and then being able to use saturation salvo to make you re-roll the dice if you happen to get good dice on defense. This, I think, has pretty great accuracy if you're able to get that off pretty well. I mean, all you need is a focus token on these TIE bombers to get off those barrage rockets. And if you happen to have them in bullseye, you have that extra ability to reroll as well with barrage rockets if you don't have Jonas near you, and then bomblets to discourage pursuit from behind you. This is really, really nice. Fifth Brother is sneaky with those homing missiles because you can add in a crit result for his ability, and it is just really, really nice. It's something that I think we're going to see more and more often with those TIE bombers coming in, and saturation salvo now being viable at 2 points.
So I will tell you, it's dirty. It's dirty. I will tell you 100%. I played against a similar type of list tonight. Yeah, dirty.
Oh yeah.
All right, let's move on to Golden Rhino State Championship. This was here in Michigan. So we had the top 4 was essentially there was only 1 4-0, 2 3-1s. And then I gave the top 2 and 2 only because they could have been 3-1 if they had not lost the last round. So
I played him in the last round.
I know. I was gonna say, like, between the two of you guys, somehow you got paired. He got paired down to you, and then you beat him. It was hilarious. It was the same thing that happened to me and Cody. I got paired down to Cody and then lost to Cody. So, but yes, I think it was funny because he still made number 4 even after losing to you. So that's how high his SOS was. So I'm going to go over Ryan's list, and then we'll let Alex do his own list because I'm not going to go over Alex's list. So Ryan came in first, was only 4-0. The only list that seemed to touch his list was 5 X-Wings, by the way. No other list seemed to touch his list. So he has VCX Chopper with Magva Yarrow and Saw Gerrera. Essentially, you shoot me, I get a target lock. I'm going to be passing out jam tokens if you run into me, and I get to change all of my focuses into crits for 1 damage. Have fun with that. Boy Luke, which is an amazing steal at 4 points. Boudica, Sandy's favorite ship, making an appearance with Predator, Mando Optics, and Beskar plating. Wedge A-Wing with Lone Wolf and Marksmanship, which is hilarious because it's a 5-ship list with a large base and still able to get Lone Wolf off. Then Sabine TIE Fighter with Beskar Reinforced Plating, because how stupid were they to bring that down to 3 points and give you a 2-point TIE Fighter to Rebels. So this list is, you have one double tap, right? You have Luke is obviously hard hitting. Wedge and Sabine are kind of your outliers to help with objectives, and then you have your VCX, which just says, "Come here, you want to shoot me? Bring it on, and I'll murder you." So,
Yeah, this list is just like rebel efficiency because no one really knows what's going on right now, so you just bring the most efficient pieces that probably went down. I mean, just Chopper is pretty strong value. Boy, Luke is probably the best pound for pound in that faction, and Bodica's real strong because they don't add range restrictions on the rebels for some reason.
Yeah, it's really good too, right? Because if you decide that you're going to engage Chopper to like punish him, not only is he going to get that lock there, but you're going to also activate Bodica to come in and punish you for trying to punish Chopper. It is absolutely deadly. I'm just really interested to see how Ryan played this particular list. It looks really, really tough to try to take down. It's nice.
I know he didn't like going against Cody, but also because him and Cody have played a bazillion games, he knows what to do against Cody's particular lists. So, I know he was having the pain to try to take on Cody.
Yeah, and I think the bigger thing is denying Cody the actions. I think that was Scramble is probably not the best one for Cody to play. That's probably his weakest. I would say that's probably his weakest.
Well, Salvage is his weakest because that's all he does is double reposition. But yeah, Scramble's not a good matchup for that one at all.
Yeah. And then we had Alex coming in second, eking it out for me by, I'm going to claim 4 points and we're going to move on. He's not getting the 7. I'm going to go with what my son's
literally right above it, like half an inch. You can see it on the screen.
I think it's a miscalculation. So essentially what we have here is Alex coming in 3-1. Alex, what was your list? And is it any different than what you ran at Worlds?
It is different. It's close to what I ran at Worlds. It has the same Poe that I like because I still am worried about high initiative ships, and I'm still bringing ships that are a little bit lower in initiative. So Notorious really helps out a lot with that. So that's Poe and Notorious, Novice Tech, Ray Gunner, Contraband, Engine, and the title. I have Lulo. I do not have Heroic Predator anymore because that went up, so it's Predator, Starbird, and Shield upgrade. I did have an opponent bump into Lulo, and that was really bad because I have Starbird, and I just 3-banked over him and rotated backwards. I have Snap Wexley, the boosty one, in the T70 with M9G8 and Dupree Gambit. M9G8, I can't imagine bringing a Resistance list without it right now because that is such a great upgrade. And it's really good offensively and defensively. Like, I locked Zach's Fen Rao, and he doesn't like that when you have M9G8 on him. Debris Gambit didn't really pay. Like, it was there. It's fine. I could take the evades. But no one ever really went after Snap, so I never really got to use it. So I have to maybe reconsider that. Maybe bring Crack Shot or something, or like a Heroic and another 2-point upgrade somewhere. Then I got a BB-8 with Han Solo targeting computer, 2 points, and then I got Merle with Crack Shot, who I should have brought Heroic because he did get one shot once, and that was rough.
I personally like Ferris Fear paint on Merle, just to by chance get a stress.
I got the Crack Shot off pretty much every game.
Oh, nice.
In general, but I don't think it was. I don't know. Getting one shot hurts.
Yeah.
But yeah, I lost my first game to Sean, which kind of sucked. That was Salvage, which was not the those great matchup against his list that wasn't Salvage. And I got Salvage, and I proceeded to not roll a crit the entire game. Literally, no crits. Not even in the road rolls. Kind of hard to pop out crates when you don't do that. You got to kill the ship. But other than that, I played a bunch of real close games. It was a great time. It was fun.
Yeah. So we won't go over my list like I promised. And you are right. My son gave me Cody's points, which they entered incorrectly. Actually, I had 12 points to 14, but he calculated Cody's points instead of mine. That's why there's 3 more points there.
I'll get right, Cody.
So yes, and I made a mistake with my Grievous. If I hadn't made a mistake with my Grievous, I would have won that one. But I stupidly. I could not kill Cody's Malorus no matter what. And then once Malorus ran away, there was no I would have to have taken a ship and chased it, and I only have 4 ships, so
just wait till he trades in his Von Reg for a ship that actually does something.
Yeah. Yeah, yep, I think that's better. I don't know.
He's going back to Rush.
I liked his Von Reg, I won't lie, but I do think same with so this was the worst. I had to play Matt, who had almost an identical list before I played Cody. And they do not play the same. And I essentially had a lot easier time against Matt. It still was a very close game. It essentially kind of came down to the end. I just had to run away and not worry too much and not die. And that was the other thing is Matt was
Matt's very aggressive when he plays. He flies in there and he just goes real hard.
Yeah, he lost his blackout really quickly.
And then Matt will do things like that, yeah.
And that's kind of what I think sealed the deal for Matt was that piece that right there, right? Like when he lost blackout, it's like, oh, there's 5 points and I didn't really trade anything. It took him a little while to kill my Tri-Fighter. And then, by the time he killed the Tri-Fighter, it was a little too late at that point. But,
well, I'm glad you went through the Bespin benchwarmers here over.
Yeah, you're the only one I didn't get to play, actually. Yeah. So, I have played you before, though. So, you and I have played before. And the first gentleman, so I am going to make note of this, and then we're going to move on. I played, I think his name is Joel Springle. I think that's what his name is. His list is not resistant. He played Separatists, by the way. And he went out and bought Tri-Fighters for the event and literally bought 6 of them.
6 Tri-Fighters and Iron Assembler. That was his list.
And I was like, holy shit, you bought 6 Tri-Fighters? He's like, yeah. But shout out to Joel. He has the same birthday as me. We are birthday twins. So my first, and it was hilarious because we talked about it in Discord and then we got paired up the first round, so it was
that's awesome.
Funny.
He one-shot my Merle.
I bet he did. Those fearsome Tri-Fighters, if they were a little bit more durable, are amazing. They actually are really good. And then my last round opponent was Sean, and I one-rounded his Mace 7B, and he was not happy.
Oh.
And I mean,
thanks for taking that vengeance out.
Some of it was I don't think he expected me. I got my Dirge proton cannon off, so I don't know what to say. I got the proton cannon and then I double tapped with Zam. So
yeah, I mean, at least he didn't go for Delta 7 Mace. That can't take CLT.
Yeah, I like how they claim that was on purpose, and you're like, no, it's not. You just admit you made a mistake.
What's even crazier, in the previous points document in November, he still didn't have the config. We were just running a legal list the whole time. That was not a recent change. That was.
I know since November.
In November.
Yeah, November. Yeah.
But why did they do that? What's the point?
Funsies.
Yeah.
for funsies. Yeah. Yeah, let the Wookiee win. Yeah, Chris, I did one-shot 2 of your A-Wings. You still won the game, but I did one-shot both of his A-Wings in our last Nickel City game with Dirge. Dirge of all people. Just yeah. When you lose Wedge and who else? I don't remember the other A-Wing. Oh, Hera. Freaking Hera of all things too. One shot. One shot.
Brutal.
That's what you get for not taking or not having heroic in that faction.
Heroic. Oh gosh.
All right, let's move on because I want to get to some lists tonight.
Yeah.
And so the next one is going to be a little bit easier to get through. This was a New Jersey East Coast Gamers, and I don't know if they never responded to me. So I have no idea who won this event. I don't know. All I know is this was the top 4. And then I put the 2 lists that won. I have no idea if they played each other or not. So I have no idea. So one is 4-0, and the other one one was 5-0, and the other one was 4-1. So whatever. I guess we're just gonna go over it and call it a day. And go ahead. I don't know, Alex. Which one do you want? Do you want the First Order? Or do you want the Resistance?
I'll just do Resistance. Keep it consistent, right?
All right.
So he had Elo with Predator, Heroic, and R3 Astromech. He had Snap Wexley with Heroic, Ferrosphere, and R6D8, the re-rolly Predator droid. He had Veniza Doza with Heroic and Diamond Boron missiles. She can shoot that at 1 to 2 out the back. Kai Thernali, Heroic Advanced Optics. No one's ever triggered his ability ever. People forget he has one. I swear. And Jess Pava with the R2D2 droid, which has 4 charges on it, and Jamming Beam. And it's your typical, maybe typical, I don't know. It's a 5T70 list. They're strong. I hope they didn't win, because my whole point of saying they're never going to win a tournament.
They did. They actually won the store champ. Yep.
Well, there goes my theory that 5T70s ain't just going to win.
I need to redo my faction rankings. Dang it.
No, you don't. 5T70s are just the benchmark. They are, if you that's how you know if you have a good list.
Yeah. But the Kai Thernali, Veniza Doza, and Snap Wexley are all I4. So he's keeping that consistent. Jess Pava being the only one at 3, but you're probably not going to initiative kill Jess Pava as long as there's someone else by there. So
nice. So on the for this particular list, I mean, it's really strong. I mean, the T70s have a ton of health. They have a total of 7 health. Being able to have those mods across the board with Heroic, as well as having Ferrosphere Paint to do it defensively, and just Pava just being able to double mod shots with her ability. I mean, it's really nice. Solid list.
All right, tell us about the First Order list that it beat. What lost to the first round or the 4th round?
So this one here, we got Shane H running a First Order list. We have Kylo Ren in the TIE Silencer making a splash here with Proton Torpedoes, Crack Shot, Sensor Scramblers, and Malice. Follow up by Lieutenant LeHughes with Special Forces Gunner, Advanced Optics, and Proud Tradition. LeHughes is the target lock sharing TIE SF for those who may not remember LeHughes. Next up, we have Commander Malorus with Cluster Missiles, Lieutenant Gaelic with Ion Cannon and Marksmanship, and then Midnight with a Pattern Analyzer and Proud Tradition to round off that list there. Interesting to put in Gaelic with Marksmanship, but still, you got 3 FOs with 1 SF and Kylo in a Silencer. This is a really good list to face off against the T70s. I hope it was a close match.
All right. Let's move on to Crichton Games in the UK. Again, top 4, 1-4-0, 3 3-1s. We're going to only go over the top 2 lists. Top list, I want to take Separatist, which is one of my favorite. And I've ran a very similar list to this. You have Sunfac and Snare, Graphic Deflection, Targeting Computer, because somebody thought, hey, let's give Sunfac 15 loadout points and make him an I6 with 5 points. That's super smart. We'll say Sunfac will die, but if you don't knife fight with him, he doesn't die. So as long as you don't knife fight and you can run him more like an ace, like, I don't know. I love him. I think it's fun. I will say I get the tractor off a little bit less, but I have not died. I've taken only 1 hit point of damage if I don't knife fight. If I knife fight, I'm just fucked. Then you have Dirge with proton cannons, delayed fuses, and proton bombs. Not my preferred Dirge, but a very effective Dirge there. Then SureTech with Ensnare, which is pretty good too. That one just seems like it dies, but I guess for 4 points, who cares? Grievous with shield upgrade, marksmanship, and impervium plating. And last but not least, we have Doofus 81 with energy shell and indie calcs along with it. I feel a very solid list. Very good pieces. Separatist is kind of becoming a little bit more of a salad mix in what they can do now, it seems. This is definitely very tinges saladish with some AC play here. I don't know. I like it. I traded out today. I traded out Grievous for the reroll man droid and upgraded 81 to HMP, and that was pretty fun. It's fun. I don't know if it's good, but it was fun. So, Alex, what did Andy Cam bring to the table with his Empire list? That is the only one we've seen so far to make top cut.
He brought an Empire list that I have actually came very close to building before. He is running my preferred rack loadout, which is Ruthless, Vader, Death Troopers, Agile Gunner, and Baffle. He has Jonas, Reimer, and Tomax, all with barrage rockets and saturation salvo. Jonas and Tomax have bomblet generators, while Reimer has seismic charges and delayed fuses, because Reimer only has 1 payload slot. Sadly.
Yeah, it's weird, right? That is kind of weird.
And they also have Laurier with Lone Wolf, which is interesting.
Yeah.
And also not like sensitive controls, which is how I've been playing my Laurier. But I didn't. I was going to say I didn't play second in the store champ, but I did. But, you know, he's probably a lot better than I am at this kind of game. So, no, it's a solid list. I love me some rack. I like 3-point interceptors, and bombers are cool.
Yeah, this is weird. Somehow he went 0-18 against the store that he played at. I don't know how that happened.
I don't know.
All right, we're going to move on. I do like this list. I think Laurier is really good for 3 points. So, the last one is Chattanooga, which was the first store champ that JJ should have gone to that he did not go to. So shame on JJ. He could have had his Worlds invite by now. This was I think the only store champ that played with the new points the first week they came out. So this is the Wild West of the Wild West. We'll put it that way. And I'll take that. Top list there is going to be Pink Panther. And I know we know this. That's Charles Holcrum, isn't it, JJ?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, he's from Nickel City League, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. I think we know Charles. And he calls his list Ray, 2 T-70s, and 2 ships. So essentially, he has Ray, Temin, which I'm guessing that's the Boosie Temin, Elo, Jaeger, BB-8. BB-8 is standard loadout, automatic target priority, Han Solo. And Jaeger is a little bit different. Jaeger's got the cloaking device, which I've not seen a lot of, but it kind of makes sense on that I-5. Allows you to be an objective getter when needed. Also move super fast down the row. Elo has crack shot, BB-8, and integrated S-foils, and I'm a little confused why we don't have the MG98 droid anywhere in this list. Because to me, that would fit on one of these guys.
BB Astromech is 4 points and M9G8 is 5, so you can't take Crackshot and BB Astromech if you're
Yeah.
Elo. And you can't take HLC and M9G8 if you're Snap.
I guess.
It's really depressing. I really wanted to like flip the point slightly. Just give me one more point.
No, not for you. Temin has the R68 though and HLC, which I would have thought HLC would have been better on Elo, only because Elo's an i5, so you would think it'd get off more often. I don't know. I probably would mess around with those loadouts a little bit too. Then we have, of course, basically the standard build, Ray with Heroic, Novice Tech, Rico, Rose Tico, Finn, Engine Upgrade, and Ray's Millennium Falcon. And then RH Payne came in second. I don't remember. I know that guy from somewhere. I don't remember where I know him from. But JJ, what is that crazy rebel list? I don't know if we've ever seen this one before.
Yeah, no, this is something that's new. We got a couple of Y-wings making a splash here. We got Horton Psalm and the Y-wing with Ion Cannon turret and Watchful Astromech, which is that rotate calculate one. We had the Battle of Gavin version of Hull Oakland, and then Kiovensi with Lone Wolf and concussion missiles. Wench in the RZ-1 A-Wing with marksmanship and crackshot, and then Sabine Wren with Beskar reinforced plating, and then another appearance of Chopper in the VCX with Saul Guerrera and Magva Yarrow. And man, this is pretty good. I mean, that's actually Chopper in 6 ships.
Chopper in 5. We already had this conversation.
So wait, Hull? Oh yeah, you're right. Sorry, I always count Chopper as part of the 6. I don't know why I do that, but yeah, no, Chopper in 5 ships. I mean, golly, a VCX at 6 points, being able to punch really, really hard with Saw and Magva. This is a really interesting archetype that's coming up for the Rebels now.
Yeah, it's crazy. I don't know. I like this list. I don't understand Lone Wolf, though. I'm just super confused about that.
I understand that Lone Wolf went down 3 points, but that doesn't mean you have to actually put in all your lists, guys. Like, especially in 5 and 6 ship lists. What are you doing with that ship? They should be in the fight.
Yeah. I don't know. It seems weird to me, too. But especially because you got concussion missiles, right? Like, you want to use those. You want to use them. And you can't use them on a ship that doesn't have damage cards. Like, validly, you can't use them.
Yeah.
I don't know. All right. Well, that was Store Champs. What we're going to do now is we're going to transition into some lists, and we're going to get through as many as we can. I'm not going to guarantee we're going to get through all of them tonight. Alex and I selected a million of these things. So I don't think we'll get through all of them, but we are going to start. And I don't know. So what we'll do is we'll skip around, and we'll let each guy... You guys can each pick 2 or 3 that you like, and we'll just kind of skip around. You just have to announce which one it is or post it in the chat for me so I know. And then I will find it on the list. And I know that's a surprise. I didn't tell them we were doing this, but I don't think we're going to get through all of them tonight. We'll see, I guess. We'll see. I don't think we can. So we will let Alex go first. I'm going to put Alex on the spot and make him choose the list he wants to go for first.
I'm going to go with the very first one in the document that I also created.
Oh my God. All right.
It's a Rebel list. It looks real silly. It is Lando with 9-nub Baze Malbus, Piston, Engine Upgrade, and Falcon title. If you have Baze Malbus, you can get multiple focus tokens for your Bistan. And if you want to use Lando's ability on yourself, you can boost with Engine Upgrade and then hit the button for Scramble the Transmission. Literally the only reason why I chose Baze Malbus Engine Upgrade over Perceptive Copilot. Get a little mini Falcon Poe in there.
Yep.
Up next, I have Corran Horn in the X-Wing with Marksmanship and Prockets. Thane Kyrell with Prockets. Keo with Prockets. And Sabine with Beskar Reinforced Plating. Because I love me some Prockets.
You want to put Prockets on Lando too? I would like to see you put Prockets on Lando.
I mean, I could do it. I would get it off. It just, won't be good. Won't be as good as Bistan, but I can do it. But yes, in this list, you can. JJ and I were playing around with it a little bit earlier today. You just give someone an action with Lando. You could set up your double modded proton torpedoes between Corran, Horn, and Lando. You can get 2 double modded proton torpedoes like in the first round if everything lines up. So it's got a lot of spike damage, and spike damage is always good.
Yeah, and what's really great about this list too is that the foils really help out the X-wings, right? Because you can close them, get that focus linked into a boost, and if you line it up correctly, you can get those proton rockets off pretty reliably at I-5 with Corran and Thane. And if you're able to get the lock off for Corran, and usually can get that pretty easily with Lando, just being able to provide that lock action to Corran. You can essentially trigger Corran to pass off another target lock, most likely with Thane or Keo, if you're able to line up that bullseye and get double modded shots on a Procket, which is really, really great spike damage for that initial encounter there. I foolishly flew my Merrick Stell right into the bullseye of Keo, and he blew him out of the sky, but it's nice. I like this archetype a lot.
Yeah, just setting up rockets is really good, and you got 3 I-5s and 2 I-3s, so you don't really have a lot of weird overlapping ship shenanigans there. So
yeah,
it's not technically a one-trick pony, but it's basically a one-trick pony.
It's can I procket you, which I feel is Alex's gimmick here. He just
after all these years I played CLT Jedi, I can probably procket you with an I-5.
Probably. Yep. Yep. All right, JJ, what list do you want to touch on?
We're going to go to the first Empire list that we have here, sent in by D. So this is something that I've been working on for a little bit, trying to get Gar Saxon in the Gauntlet Fighter to make its appearance here. And I definitely like this archetype here. So we got Gar Saxon with Notorious, Grand Moff Tarkin, Contraband Cybernetics, and Mandalorian Optics. And just a quick note on that. So you can essentially, since they both happen during the system phase, you can do Mandalorian Optics, acquire target lock, and then trigger Grand Moff Tarkin to allow the rest of your list to get target locks on that ship that you just locked, which is really, really good. Then following up with this, you got Fifth Brother and Seventh Sister in the TIE Advance V1 and Grand Inquisitor as well. Both Fifth Brother and Seventh Sister with Discipline, Homing Missile, Fifth Brother with Discipline and Homing Missiles, Seventh Sister with Discipline and Cluster Missiles, and then Grand Inquisitor with Malice, Disciplined, and Mag Pulse Warheads to finish off this list. Now, what makes this particularly good is that Gar Saxon's ability basically rewards you for outmaneuvering your opponent, and if you're within range 2 of Gar Saxon, your friendly can essentially roll 1 additional attack die against that opponent there, which works really, really well with like Cluster Missiles or with Mag Pulse Warheads if you really want to get that that extra punch in there. I think this is a really solid list. I like this archetype a lot. Me personally, I think I would probably put Soontir instead of Grand Inquisitor, just to have an I-6. But Grand Inquisitor is actually a really solid option for this as well.
Yeah, and they all have discipline too, right? So like, even if you do kill Gar Saxon, all of a sudden you got more target locks coming. Like, you still keep up the target lock race, even if you don't have Mando Optics and Tarkin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I actually like this list for the pure fact that I can run 3 V1s, and that's fun to me. So I love 3 V1s. I would actually wonder if you could fit one more V1 in there, right? I wish we had like a few more named V1 pilots, so that I could have one more, and then maybe Larir in the Interceptor. So, and I don't care what you say, JJ. I want the Grand Inquisitor over Soontir.
Yeah.
So,
I want Rack over Gar Saxon. Does that help?
yeah, actually, that's D and I were talking about this tonight, and they were telling me they're probably more sold on Rack than they are on Gar. But I think Gar is harder to run, and I think that's why. So, but I will say I do not like to be notorious by Gar. I will tell you that right now.
Oh, it's true.
Yeah,
Completely
exactly.
forgot about that.
And remember, it works in the beer arc too.
Yes, I know. Thank you.
Yep.
Yep.
All you got to do is just reinforce. That's it.
Yeah, all I had to do is show up.
All right. So the next one that I'm going to go to. Let's see here. No resistance for me. Definitely not JJ's list. I'm going to pick this Republic list because I think this is close to a playstyle I have. So here is a bunch of Z95s and Oddball. And I will tell you, I don't think that's the correct Oddball loadout. I would actually just take the SLC Oddball because SLC Oddball is stupid. And it's stupid, and I hate Alex forever. Alex, you must win with this, like multiple things, so that they ban it because it's ridiculous at 4 points. It is so good at 4 points. Seriously,
Oddball?
yes.
Yeah, that's what I was saying the whole time.
I know, but at 5 points, it's a little bit harder. But at freaking 4 points, it's really hard. But yes, Synced Council is better at this one, which is what Sean's trying to get off in this list, is a Synced Council list, which is very dear and near to my heart because I built a very similar one to this with one less Z95 and a whatchamacallit, a lat back in the day. So this is Boost with Fire Control Sync, Slider with Fire Control Sync, Killer with Fire Control Sync and Concussion Missiles, Knack with Fire Control, Ion and Sync, Warthog with Sync, Fire Control and Concussion Missiles, Stub with Sync, Fire Control, and then Oddball with Ursa Rend, Fire Control, and Sync Council. And I believe the idea is you use Oddball to go in there. Oddball's the one that can get the free target lock after certain maneuvers if you're in Bullseye. And then it just sets everybody else up. So once you get a couple of target locks out, every person in this list can just fire a shot. They get the free mod from the Fire Control, which is really dirty, actually.
Well, it's kind of the only reason they can pass around the target lock is because they get like an FCS reroll.
Yeah.
Otherwise, like, crap roll, you break the chain.
You do, and that's why I think with this list you take 2 target locks, right? Like you have at least 2 ships. You're gonna have your Oddball, and then somebody else that's taking that target lock. Oddball at I5 is just dope good. I still think SOC one is really good too, and might be a little bit better, but
SOC doesn't have
Sync.
Yeah. But you know who does? Jag, who also just gets it for free.
Ugh.
Like SOC Jag has Sync Council. You can have Born for this, and he's also I3, which is basically every other Z95 there, except for Knack, Killer, and I guess Sliders 4. But
the other things I would say is that we're missing a couple of dedicateds in there, right? With those missing points, right?
I mean, I would love to go against this list. Those things pop. There's also missing some loadouts there. Like Stub can actually take concussion missiles as well. Warthog, you can toss something in there. But the problem is if you put in dedicateds, you don't have fire control anymore.
Yeah, I think Fire Control is better than the dedicated. Because this list is like, I think it is, because with this list, it's not meant to live forever. This is a separatist list. That's what this is. This is like a bunch of
HMPs,
HMP / vultures just trying to say, dare me to look at you. That's what this is.
It needs Wolfpack somewhere in there. That way you can get a bunch of free target locks, but it's kind of hard to build when you're bringing, 6 C95. So
I like it. I think this is a genius list. I love this list. So
it's nice.
All right, is it back to Alex? Is it back to Alex?
Mm-hmm.
What list do you want? Give me a name and a faction.
Would it be just too much nepotism if I just said scroll down to the Republic list that I have down there?
You do you, baby.
No, let's
Let's do it.
let's do something else. Oh,
You don't have a list picked out? It's been 2 turns.
okay, fine. We'll do my Republic list. It's right there. You happy now?
No.
Yeah.
Okay, so SOC Anakin, 4 points. Then you can tell it's one of my lists because that's Sync Council in there, right? You have CLT Obi-Wan, Marksmanship, Sync Council, Chopper, Oddball on the Y-Wing, Dedicated, Proton Torpedoes, R4, Sync Council, Contrail, Dedicated, R3, Sync Council, Seismics, and then Boost and Slider with Dedicated. Somehow there's 6 ships in that list with an I-6 ETA, 3 I-5s, all shooting with Sync Council. One of them has a Proton Torpedo, the other one's CLT, who also jams you. And you have 2 Z95s that are dedicated and scoring objectives.
Yeah. I like this list too. I don't disagree with you with the dedicated outside of Sync Council would be pretty dope. But I don't know. I think in your list, this you don't need the Sync Council on them as much.
There's not a lot else you can put because like Predator is up to 3 points. So for Obi-Wan, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Same with Contrail and Oddball. You're just kind of like, well, there's not really much other things that I particularly want to put on there. I like the spike damage of Proton Torpedoes, and I liked, Contrail just being able to facilitate everything. It's kind of more of, yes, it's what I play, but also it's like, there's not really anything else that's too much better.
Yeah, definitely.
And I don't think they're going to rule ever that FCS can't be used without locks. I or with those locks that are passed. I don't foresee AMG doing that, especially because they can't admit they were wrong about Mace not getting CLT, which is, I mean, I don't even know how to process that. Like, I just don't understand it because it doesn't affect the game.
It's been 6 months, man. Let it go.
No, it hasn't been. It's been like 2 weeks. None of us knew about this. I've been playing Mace with fucking CLT.
Oh, and all your wins are invalidated. So what?
It would be hilarious if the winning list at Worlds was a CLT Mace that was in that list. I mean, you know how much
It would have been incredible.
Like, you know how much uproar there would have been over that, right? Illegitimate winner, illegitimate. But yeah, no, definitely. I do like this list a lot, actually. I do like having the Ada Annie and having the Obi-Wan in there. They're like 2 of my favorite Jedis for Republic, and they just do such great work, especially with Contrail being able to start off the chain with everybody else with its ability there. I like that list a lot. It's pretty good there. So the next list we're going to go here is going to be a scum list submitted here by a longtime friend of the show, Crispy. He sent out a scum list here, starting with Fen Rao, the Fang Fighters, with Fearless, Clan Trading, and Shield Upgrade. Maul and the Gauntlet Fighter with Gamut Key, Contraband Cybernetics, Lando Calrissian crew, and then Dace with Elusive, Protector of Gleb, and Deadman Switch, and the Moldy Crow title. And then to fill off the list is Bosk in the Z95 with Marksmanship and Deadman Switch to round off that list here. So definitely got a heavy hitter here with Fen Rao being able to get in close and do Fen Rao things, rolling 5 dice there with Fearless, having that clan training there, and Shield Upgrade that allows him to double mod his shots if he does want to. And if he's rolling 5 dice, more than likely he can wipe a ship off the board to recover the charge from clan training. So that's really good there. Maul, 3 Force Gauntlet can do a lot of work, especially with Gamut Key on crew on there, being able to hang on to those extra tokens that he has, especially with Night Brother. You're able to stop, still retain your tokens that you have with Gamut Key from the previous round, use Contraband Cybernetics, still have mods, and if you still have the Force, you can use those for those mods for offense or defense, and then use Lando to take your tokens to reroll your green tokens, or use your green tokens to reroll dice. I mean, Maul has a lot of utility in this list. You have Dace Bone Arm, which I think probably is the the new Gamut key in this particular list
It's a
with
9/4
consecutive
with
glaive.
the title, right?
Yep,
Like,
exactly. And this is going to be a ship that can actually do some damage here because that Moldy Crow title adds that forward arc with 3 red dice, being able to coordinate, have elusive for passive rerolls, and still be able to contribute to the list here. I think does a lot there, especially with Fen Rao, who sometimes needs to have that early reposition to make sure he's not blocked. And then Bosk, which is the 2-point filler that Scum's been needing for a while. Marksmanship pairs very well with his ability, and then Dead Man Switch, which helps to make your opponent pay if you're able to get in close and blow up and cause some extra damage there. I definitely like this list here. I honestly, when you look at this, I don't even know who I would want to engage first, because Maul and Fen Rao look like they're going to be really tough to bring down.
yeah, and that Contraband is real nice with the Night Brother title, just because you just get a free focus or evade and still get your action.
Yep.
You know, just do like a 2 hard or whatever, right? You know, so it's pretty dirty.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to go back to Rebel. And we're going to go with Sandy's list here. They have Chopper in the VCX with Dorsal, Saw, Veteran Turret Gunner. Kanan in the VCX with Heightened Perception, Dorsal, Magva, Veteran Turret Gunner, and the Child. Keo with Prockets, and then Bodica with Predator, Beskar, and Mandalorian Optics. So this list feels like I want to hit you and do nothing else. I am not sold on the Child on Kanan, though. I don't know about that. What do you got?
It's rough not being able to recover it.
Yeah, the hard part about this particular loadout, right, is that the only other option for Force is either going to be Kanan Jarrus or Maul. Well, Kanan Jarrus is a crew, but he can't obviously equip it on himself. But Maul crew is the other option, which requires you to have Ezra Bridger in your list, which obviously you don't have it on here. And then Ezra Gunner is the only other Force crew as well that provides you a Force. But that's a very big investment for you just to bring in Maul, right? You're looking at minimum of, unless you bring him in as a TIE fighter in this list, which kind of affects the power of this list. You're looking at a very big investment to try to bring in a 12-point Maul to fit onto Kanan on this particular list here. So having the Child, you can use his ability 3 times if you decide to ignore Kanan, and that really helps out the rest of the list really survive, particularly Bodica. So it does have a capability of being a good list because you can slow roll these VCXs and get aggressive with the other list and let Kanan help them survive longer that initial joust. But I feel 2 4-die guns coming at you, it could be pretty good. So.
Yeah, I mean it's like I understand, like if you don't shoot Kanan, he uses his ability and you're rolling less dice. And if you do shoot Kanan, you finally start recharging the Child charges. So it's a little bit of a damned if you do, damned if you don't. But you also kind of lose out on a lot of offense with not being able to reoccur those Force charges because you can typically probably be reinforcing with him, right? And then you'd have a lock with Magva, someone shot you, and then you normally use the Force tokens to change your focus results, but that's a little bit sketchy with the Child. So
what if you can you damage yourself and recharge the Child, or is that illegal?
Let me take a look at the wording. I'll tell you right now.
Like, what if you put Saw? I know that takes a bunch of loadout, but
the Child is after you defend if you suffer damage.
okay, so
it
doesn't work.
Yeah,
no.
no.
You can't self-damage yourself.
Thank God somebody thought of that. Thank you, whoever thought of that. FFG, AMG, whoever thought of that. You are a lifesaver.
Because it's not Maul crew, which the one crew, Maul crew, that anytime you suffer damage, you can take the stress and recover it.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So
I do still think this list has a big threat though, because this is an aggro list that's going to say, hey, I'm here, I'm going to throw a lot of red dice. What are you going to do about it? And it wants to double tap as much as it can. So I don't know. I think it might be a little harder to be consistent dice wise, but I will say throwing 4 red dice and then 2 to 3 red dice every turn seems pretty good. You know.
Yeah, and on top of that, this is a large base, which is really hard to avoid as you're coming in. It's going to be tough to arc dodge as you're approaching this particular list. You know, it's easy. It's hard enough with just one. I can imagine that with 2 large bases that can throw 4 red dice on there, you're going to have to make a choice on whose arc you're going to be in, and it can punish really, really hard if the variance is right. So yeah.
All right, Alex.
Okay, the very last FO list in there, Brendan's list. I like it. It has Gideon Hask with Proud Tradition, Fanatical, Biohex Crypt Codes, Agent Terex, and Tactical Officer. Lieutenant LeHughes with Proud Tradition, Pattern Analyzer, and now the free Special Forces Gunner. Backdraft with Pattern Analyzer, Special Forces Gunner. Quick Draw with Proud Tradition, Special Forces Gunner, Fire Control, and Afterburners. And then Commander Malorus with Mag Pulse Missiles.
So I need to ask, how has AMG not learned their lesson about giving us free upgrades?
You like
did
how
this
they
in
made
CIS.
Special Forces 0 points, but then bumped up Jamming Beam and Tyrfon Belly Run to 1 just in case?
Yeah. Oh, and independent calculates are now 2, and impervium plating is 2. Like, but yeah, here, have Special Forces Gunner at 0, and the one faction that doesn't need it.
Again, they underperformed at Worlds, so
I guess
gotta buff them more.
My guess is they're coming in their core set.
Probably.
I mean, I won't lie and tell you this looks like a really fun list.
Mhm.
I really do think this is a fun list to fly.
I like the SFs. I like with the Proud Tradition Pattern Analyzer combo, you get off like LeHughes. You can do like a 1 hard right, take the target lock with Pattern Analyzer, and then Proud Tradition your focus that you can still take, or evade probably because it's LeHughes because he's gonna take someone else's lock. Malorus, Mag Pulse, I always love that. A lot of high initiative. You got a 6, 2 5s, a couple 4s. So, and then Terex is really, really good. Gideon's pretty good. You're not going to get Gideon's ability off too much unless you really want to use it on Malorus later on. Or maybe like the first front shot off Backdraft. But, no, I like this list a lot. I think I might switch out the quick draw loadout a little bit, though. I like Afterburners, but it's hard to give up shield upgrade.
Yeah,
or even Deuterium.
I was going to say Deuterium, or at least Pattern Analyzer to go with Proud Tradition. Yeah.
I have a question. Is there another 4-point SF that's worthwhile taking?
Phasma? Possibly.
Yeah, I mean, Phasma's okay. She got hit pretty hard in the loadout. She only has 6. So it's a little bit iffy there. You can't do the Pattern Analyzer Proud Tradition with her.
Mm-hmm.
So, but otherwise, that's all the SFs there. So
I only ask because you could swap Gideon and go down to Midnight and put Squad Leader on Gideon for crazy, or not Gideon, Midnight, and an I6 to coordinate. And then you get a little bit less than you get with Gideon, but if you could put another SF in there that hits really hard, that was the question. I mean, maybe it's another 4-point ship instead of that, but I don't know. I think it's worth looking at because Midnight Squad Leader is really good.
Yeah,
well, it's also the same points as Malorus. You just straight swap Malorus with Midnight if you really wanted to.
Yeah, but I don't need 2 damage producing ships. I only need 1.
I like Gideon as a support ship a lot. Actually, I think it'd be really good to coordinate like evades and stuff to the like quick draw. To really kind of try to make it you lose one shield at a time kind of thing. So, but I do love me some SFs.
I do too. They're one of my favorite ships to fly in FO. All right, JJ, next list.
All right, so the next one here is it's going to be a separatist list. It's going to be the very first one that's on the list there, sent in by Qual3. This is a really interesting list that I really want to put on the table to try out. However, I only own 2 Tri-Fighters, so I need to buy another one. So we got 3 Fearsome Predators with Treacherous and Intercept boosters. DGS-047, the HMP droid gunship with TA-175 and novice technician. And then we have 3 separatist drones with Discord missiles, and then DFS-081 with the Thread Tracer missile equipped on this one here. And I got to say, this is bringing back the old droid swarm with a couple of Tri-Fighters added into the mix here. All of them with network calculations, being able to share those calculates between each other to like help them modify their defense or their offense on there. The TA-175 being able to bolster the ships there with its ability, and Discord missiles to add on there. I mean, you're already dealing with 8 ships. Adding in 3 Discord missiles on there, you're going to have a lot of targets to try to take down on here. If their dice can hold up, you're going to get a lot of shots coming back at you. I like this list a lot.
Yeah, so so I'm going to be picky. The changes I would make is I would immediately drop Treacherous 100%.
Yeah.
I would never take Treacherous. I understand the idea. I understand why they want Treacherous in this list, because Treacherous is going to say, hey, somebody dies, I get to regen my charge, and it's a free damage mitigation.
Mm-hmm.
I hate playing with Treacherous in real life with a passion. You have no idea. I hate judge calls with it with so much passion. And that's because I have been fucked more times than I can imagine with it. So I would run independent calculates and marksmanship. That's how I would run that. And that's what I've been loading out my Tri-Fighters. I'm also a little confused why 47 just doesn't have either Hondo or Kraken. And probably in this list, Kraken's the better call. Because the Pinata droid says you got to die for me to get a calculate. And I don't know. I guess I could see the point because everything's an I3 or lower, right? Mm-hmm. I guess I could see it. I could see it if you want to do that, but I don't feel novice technician gives you the viability piece of it. I don't know. I think you'd have to play it both ways.
Yeah, I think novice tech is just there to you have 2 points left on the HMP, so you don't have really any other viable option for like missiles or a mod slot other than Indy Calcs. And I think that since you have so many ships to share calculates with, the TA-175 just increases the amount of calculates that are available, because green dice are green dice and vultures can pop very, very easily. I mean, being able to now have essentially 14 calculates if one of these vultures dies available in a pool to network calculate between, you're going to have a much easier time surviving the rest of the onslaught from your opponent. But yeah, I mean, it is a preference call though between Kraken, because honestly I thought Kraken too, but only if the rest of the list was running independent calculations.
Yep.
So, yeah.
And so since you're doing that right with the independent calculations, I would run Kraken and I would swap out one of those separatist drones for a an iron assembler thread tracer. That's what I would do.
Yeah,
because the iron assembler could take thread tracers and munitions failsafe, and yes, they're an I1, but they can set everything up for the next turn. Especially like this list feels like I can eat anything that's a large base and low agility. That's what this feels like. Like, even Bosk. Yeah, Bosk can kill 2 drones in a turn because Bosk is a dick. but you can't take Zam on Bosk as easy. But I feel if it were me, I would move. If you're not going to use independent calculates, I don't know. I would probably move away from Treacherous still. I still think I would move away from Treacherous. Maybe go to Predator for the rerolls.
Yeah, I think Predator would be my call to instead of Treacherous, but it also depends on how you fly the drones, right? If they're not going to be flankers, they have to fly fairly close to these vultures to make sure that they can get that obstructed shot from those vultures and to trigger Treacherous. But yeah, it's a preference call, I think. But yeah,
I do like this list.
Yeah.
I own enough of these ships to fly this. Maybe you know what? Maybe I'll fly this weekend.
Hey, nice.
And if I beat Alex's resistance list, Alex has to come on the podcast and say Separatists should be ranked higher than resistance. Deal? Yes. If I beat you, you have to say that.
Why do you two want to bring the resistance?
I don't know, because that's what you brought last weekend. So.
He's going to switch it up and play Republic now.
No, he's not going to. He's going to play his resistance. He wants his stupid store champ thing. He's not going to play for fun until he gets it.
Every time I play for fun.
Yeah, okay. We know you're going to play to win, though. So. All right, so what faction have we not covered? We've done Rebels, right? We've done Scum, Empire. We've done...
Yeah, actually haven't done Resistance.
We haven't... Fuck. All right, I'm doing Resistance. The one that I don't want to do.
I think that's the only one we haven't done.
All right, I'm going to do Resistance then because I think it's only fair. And that's going to be our last list for the night. I don't like JJ's list. I know that. I have no idea who this list is from. Are you sure we didn't do your Resistance list, Alex?
The Republic.
Yeah, we spoke about, my store Resistance list if you want to try to...
Yeah. We'll go through this one. We're going to go through this one. I don't know whose list this is because I don't remember, obviously. But somebody, JJ can look this up. It's in the doc somewhere.
Yeah.
So JJ will come back and tell me who this is. And I do like me some Y-Wings. So we have Sasha with Munitions Failsafe, Wartime Loadout, which is 2 points, by the way, if you didn't know. Magpulse Warheads and R4. Tessa with Marksmanship, Barrage Rockets, which I love. Wartime Loadout, Munitions Failsafe, and R4. Wilsa with Barrage Rockets, which I love. R4, Bomblet Generator, and Wartime Loadout, which I do question. Oh, they don't have a talent slot. That's why. All right. That's why we get Bomblet. Oh, I don't know. That Bomblet's kind of spicy, though. And then we have Zori, who came down to 4 points with Marksmanship, Dorsal, R4, Wartime, Magpulse, BB-8 with Automatic Targeting Priority, and Ferrosphere's Paint instead of Han. And then Resistance, Pod, Rose Tico with Ferrosphere, Heroic, and there's our Han Solo. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ship Resistance list. I like it. I think it's pretty good. I think I would like to take Chewbacca in this list, to be honest with you, though. But I feel that this is a list that you can essentially kind of swarm around everything and force your opponent where are you going to choose to do so. And the idea, to me, the idea says is I'm going to take these Y-Wings and these pods, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, pick which side of the board you want to attack. Because the other side of the board is going to go collect 3 objectives a turn. That's what this list feels like to me, is half my list is going to deal with you. The other half is going to collect objectives. And if you choose to split your fire and come after this list, I'm just going to live. I'm just not going to die. That's what this list feels like.
Yeah, there's a lot of health in this list.
Oh, yeah.
With the wartime, they're 9 points apiece, right? So multiply that by 4, that's 36 health. Each the pod's got 4, that's 44 health total. That's a lot of health to try to chew through, despite them still having 1 agility, so you're going to be hitting them a lot, but they also have 5 shields.
Oh, and hey, thank God Finn went up to 4 points, because could you imagine Finn in this list? Oh,
Yeah, you just replace him with a Y wing. You just replace one of the Y wings with Finn. It's better.
so dirty.
Yeah, so my only change I would do is for Rose, because I think Rose is just such a great piece to run with C3PO crew, to allow that coordinate. But yeah, I mean the wartime loadout combined with barrage rockets, I mean that's such a great combo, because you're essentially not allowing especially when you have marksmanship, and not allowing your opponent to be able to cancel those results. I mean it's really really good. You just need to, I think you need that coordinating piece in Rose and C3PO to help you set up those bullseyes, to that way you're able to effectively use wartime loadout if you're able to, especially against like large bases. It can do a lot of damage and can really punish anything that gets sent into that trap from all those Y wings.
Yeah, this feels like a Catherine list right here.
Oh yeah.
Like, Catherine, if you're listening, this is what I need you to do: is take this list and make this viable in Resistance.
Oh yeah.
And in fairness, this is this is what Tanner would run. If I ran Resistance, I would run some weird Y-wing pod list, because I like Poe, don't get me wrong, and I like Rey, but I just really this is more my style of a list.
Yeah,
Everything's
absolutely.
like 2 agility or 1 agility, so it's very separatist feel.
Oh yeah.
All right. Well, I think we got through quite a few lists. We'll have to curtail next week. Next week, we will be back on Sunday. We will be talking about whatever store champs have happened, but we are definitely going to continue with the list. If you have submitted a list that has not been reviewed yet, we will get to your list. I have to go back through and find out what lists we are missing. JJ's deleting things out of the doc right now, which is driving me nuts. Stop doing it, please, until we're done so we can talk about this. But we will be going through the next set of lists. If you have not submitted a list or want to submit more lists, go ahead and put your list in community list suggestions in our Discord, on Planning Phase Syndicate Discord, and we will get to them. Like, I think this is for at least the next month. This is probably a regular segment we're gonna do. I don't know about the two of you, but
Yeah.
I feel like this is beneficial personally. It's probably the best part of X-Wing, other than beating Alex. I need to beat this week. I have to beat Alex. That's my goal.
Man, I hope we can get that stream. That'll be fantastic. It'll be good.
There's no stream for it unless you're gonna come up and stream. Okay.
Just set up your phone. Set up your phone on a stand and just do it.
Alex, do you think you can convince Brian to come over and stream our game?
Ryan Staniszewski?
Yeah, he's the only one I know that like could come and do it.
No,
Will lives too far.
He's got a
Neil lives
wedding
too
to
far.
go to, unfortunately.
Ah.
Yeah, no.
There you go, JJ. No stream of me and Alex versus each
Sad.
other.
Sad.
I'm not holding my phone up. Alex gets the advantage if I hold my phone up. Anyway, all joshing aside, we do have some amazing content coming. Thank you all for joining us tonight. We will be back next week, Sunday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, hopefully, as long as nothing else happens. We will be back on time. I apologize for us being a half hour late this week, but we will be back next week, 9 p.m. Eastern, 2100 UTC, or 2100 Eastern and 100 UTC the next day. And DJ, yes, there is a store champ in Michigan, and yes, there is a conflict with 312 because they're doing the same thing we are doing. So we are going to work. I have not reached out to Nick yet, but I am going to start trying to work with Nick to see what he's willing to come over and stream on our neck of the woods. So with that being said, thank you all. Have a good night, and we'll be back next week with more lists and more store champs. See you, and have a good night, everyone.
Thanks for listening.
See ya.